Shalom. This summer is shaping up to be a very big event. Multiple pieces are being put into place to create a scenario unlike any that this country has experienced in its existence. For those with eyes to see, they should be able to discern the seeds that are being planted all over the world that will eventually link together and cause a very big event here in America. We have the second most populated country on this planet experiencing an explosion in the pandemic. So we went from the first now to the second. Like step one and then step two. We have the rise of the hesitant. The hesitant people have risen and become a concern. Such a great concern that literally every news station has a segment talking about them. What to do about them. Right now the talk is nice. Right now the talk is civil. Right now the talk would have you think that the people behind this are actually rational, caring human beings. But it's my truest feeling that within the next few months we will see that talk change. And it will change in concert with the appearance of a new version. A new version that has come from the second most populated country on this planet. See, the one that came from the first most populated country on the planet was one version, one variant. The one that will come from the second most populated country on this planet will be a new version, a new variant. Again, this is a seed that those with eyes to see would have seen planted. A word repeated, variant. New variant. More deadly variant. Words that are repeated. Hesitant. Hesitancy. New variants. Hesitancy. What do these words have in common? Well, spelling it out easily and completely seems to be against the rules on this particular social media platform. So people have to kind of beat around the bush. But one can be likened to a combustible element, and the other can be likened to a ignition source. And the resulting explosion appears to be scheduled to happen during the most hottest time of year. But that's just one of these scheduled explosions to happen. There's another one they have brewing. You know, again, if you have eyes to see, you would have seen this seed planted on the day when many of our people were very elated. The day when many of our people thought a corner had been turned. the day when a cop got the worst possible charges thrown against him and was found guilty on all of them. It was a surprise, but it was a surprise with a purpose. It was a surprise to lift you up, to raise you high, and then drop you from that height. Yes, it will be declared a mistrial. And yes, the anticipated response is rage, destruction, an explosion of emotions. This is what they want. This is what they need. It really does seem like these people cannot do anything without us being involved. They always have to bring us into the equation. And it's usually through emotional manipulation. Never anything feel good. It's always the negative emotions. Fear, anger, and sadness. These are their chosen tools when it comes to manipulating those who are the descendants of the ancient Israelites. They want you mad, they want you sad, and they want you scared. You can see it all around us. Those of us who were not hesitant and that have chosen to believe the experts were driven by the negative emotion of fear. They were afraid. So I guess they used that emotion to its fullest. They got however many of us that they could get with that. Those of us that remain are now deemed hesitant. So they have two other emotions to use. Negative emotions. Sadness and anger. Well, it looks like anger is next up. From there, where they take it is anyone's guess. But the saying, being hot and mad, will take on a whole new meaning this summer. You know, most of my videos that I make, I brainstorm these things. You know, there's no pre-planning. I just sit in front of a microphone and just think about what's going on and just letting it come out. And when I consider these elements that will all come together within the next few months, when it's the most temperate, when it's the most hot, heat seems to fuel the emotion of anger. I just try to consider how can all this be used to further the agenda of the adversary, those who wish to create a matrix within a matrix. See, that's one thing people get messed up about the movie The Matrix, I believe. People always talk about, oh, we're in the matrix right now. Well, why, if we're in the matrix, do we have people trying to create a matrix to lure us all into a reality within a reality? It's called transhumanism. Everyone connected. To a world that is ruled by artificial intelligence. That's pretty much the script of the movie The Matrix right there. So they quite literally are trying to create a matrix within what everybody perceives to be a matrix. That's interesting. And apparently we are an integral part of that process. Hence the reason why we always are in the spotlight. But we're in the spotlight for the wrong reason. We're in the spotlight because, most time we've been killed. That's typically our claim to fame now. The people who lay dying. The people who die in the most traumatic, chaotic of ways. There was a term used back in the Old West. Well, I don't know if this was used in the Old West for sure, but it was said in one of those Western movies where one of the bandits said, "I'll make you famous." And basically what he meant by that was that once he killed you, everybody would know who you were because you would be another one of his victims. Everybody would know your name. You would be famous. Well, it seems to me that many of us now are being made famous in similar fashions. Unknown people, the world all of a sudden knows their name because they're dead. Seems like we always get the shittiest end of the stick. Shalom.